entitled Haiti Earthquake Disaster. Tendai Mwari. We have gathered here today as community of sons and daughters of Africa, as members of the African world community here in the United Kingdom, to play our part in giving international recognition to the massive loss of lives and suffering of our people in the part of the African world community called Haiti, and to restore honor to her name and dignity to her humanity. On a Jimma Day, Tuesday, the 12th of February, 12th of January, 6250, that's 2010, at 4:53 p.m., an earthquake measuring 7 on the Richter scale tore through Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, from its epicenter in Legon, approximately 16 miles west. The earthquake devastated Port-au-Prince, leaving over 250,000 sons and daughters of Africa dead, some 500,000 injured, and an estimated 1 million of the capital's 3 million homeless. That's approximately a third. Massive collateral damage and widespread destruction to infrastructure were also caused, resulting in 250,000 residences and 30,000 commercial buildings severely damaged or completely destroyed. Communication systems, air, land, and sea transport facilities, hospitals, schools, buildings, electrical networks, and water supplies had also been shattered or totally ruined. Many notable landmarks, buildings were also demolished by the earthquake, including the Presidential Palace, the National Assembly buildings, Port-au-Prince Cathedral, and the main jail. Almost the entire Port-au-Prince was reduced to a mass, mal-equipped outdoor mortuary and accident and emergency unit, as the capital's morgues and hospitals were quickly overwhelmed. Consequently, tens of thousands of bodies laid unpreserved in the streets, eventually to be unceremonially buried in mass graves or cremated on the spot. Eyewitness accounts painted a picture of the colossal human suffering. The shocking sight of numerous corpses, some limbless, some lying on the ground, the pools of blood, the overwhelming stench of death in the air, the many injured lying debilitated on the ground or trying to crawl to safety, the desperate cries of the bereaved over their departed loved ones, or the despairing screams for help for trapped relatives, the frantic search for missing families, members, husbands, wives, children, mothers, fathers, grandparents, newborn babies, the moans, the shrieks, the hollering, the groans of the suffering, the dying, the masses buried alive under tons of rubble, of pregnant mothers in shock-induced labor. Amidst the tremendous African human suffering, as with Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, the white supremacist mass media saw fit to report of alleged violence, looting, and thuggery via news reports with film footages that bore no evidence of what was being reported, but served the purpose of diverting public sympathy from suffering African humanity, and reinforce the racist stereotypes of innate African psychopath deviance. African humanity was further denigrated by footage sparing our people no dignity, the like of which was not seen in the reporting of 9/11, the bombing of the USA Twin Towers, dead bodies soaked in blood or bearing entrails, rescue victims in their most vulnerable moment with bits of private parts or near enough exposed, traumatized pregnant women in labor or having just given birth. The same media network failed also to report on the remarkable resilience and courage of the Haitian people to help themselves in the face of one of the worst human catastrophes the world has ever seen. The sheer heroism demonstrated by many Haitians, sacrificing life and limb to rescue fellow Haitians, digging through tons of rubble with their bare hands to rescue family, friends, or complete strangers. The selfless giving and sharing of frugal supplies between neighbors was not considered newsworthy. Equally ignored was the swift, comprehensive response of African nations in the Caribbean and on the African continent to disaster. CARICOM, the 15-nation organization of the Caribbean, who mobilized immediately and comprehensively in support of their sister and fellow CARICOM member island, dispatching doctors, engineers, firemen, army personnel, as well as food, water, medical supplies, and a vast range of material supplies. On the African continent, Azania, South Africa, where exiled President Jean-Bertrand Aristide and his wife presently reside, after being kidnapped and stripped and spirited out of their home country by the USA government and led the way in sending plane loads of vital supplies and a host of medical and other experts to the relief of their suffering brothers and sisters in Haiti. Senegal followed by offering land for the refuge of some of the 1 million displaced, a gesture which inspired the African Union to place this on its agenda as a continental response. In addition, the government, and more importantly, the people of every African nation on the mother continent and the Caribbean have organized financial aid and collections respectively, raising millions in their respective currencies. Furthermore, African communities in the USA, South America and Europe, including right here in Britain, have also mobilized support channeled through African organizations such as Yele, with Wyclef Jean of Fuji at the helm, and the United Haitians in the United Kingdom, also the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network, headed by Ezili Danto, and many more African organizations.